I was texted something by someone who covers the league on a national level, and he offered his perspective on the Pistons. So yesterday, the Pistons made another one of these whiz-bang-pow trades. These are all tryhards. These are not the moves we wanted. According to, again, person who covers the league on a national level, there is no more. The analytics people are in Trajan's ear. Optionality, flexibility over planting a flag with a big move. That is, as of today, as of what they're hearing, they're sourcing. I don't like doing stuff like this because it can change quickly. Right. As we sit here right now, I said, like Michael Scott, there's no question about it. I'm ready to be heard again. I was ready to give Trajan more time. I felt like there's no way in good faith this could be the offseason.
Bruh, you look like you were ready to do the announcements for the team and tell Mason, move over. You got this. You were believing, and I'm like, Mike, don't. No, I am. Has to be something else. It won't.
This is your team. They're going to pay Duren. They're going to pay Asur. And look what we brought you. Isaiah Joe and a backing band. John Collins and a trombone. This is your team. Reporters get things wrong all the time. One of the best reporters in the league has gotten several things wrong this summer, Brian Windhorst. I'm only giving you what I received today. Could it change? Sure. But as we sit here, I owed this to Rico and David, who have tried to convert me to their church. Mike, you don't need to be patient. They're not going to make a move.
The one thing with the Detroit Pistons is they've actually gotten better in one area this offseason, and we can talk about it. They have gotten better as a three-point shooting team. If you look at last season, Duncan Robinson was the only consistent three-point shooter on the roster. They've traded for Isaiah Joe, who's been one of the best three-point shooters in the league the past couple of seasons. Taurean Prince has been a 40% three-point shooter the past 2 seasons with the Milwaukee Bucks. John Collins shot 40% from 3. Kevin Huerter is an average three-point shooter, shot 34% his final 2 months with the Detroit Pistons. And you also have to account in Javonte Green, who shot a career best 38% from 3 with Detroit. So the Pistons have supplemented more three-point shooting to surround Cade Cunningham, Ausar Thompson, and Jalen Duren to open up the court, which I think is a win in itself because you look at the box score, the Pistons were shooting like 6 for 30 or 5 for 21 from 3. Now you have more consistent three-point shooters to open up the court in half-court settings for Cade Cunningham, Ausar Thompson, and Jalen Duren.
And I know fans are sick of hearing kick the can down the road. I know they are sick of hearing that. But if they are faced with that, if that is the situation we were faced with, if we are going to accept that reality, that the reality is the guys they wanted to go after, for whatever reason, are now not available. If you are now sitting in that front office and you're sitting in the GM chair, the president of basketball operations, the guys you wanted are gone. The 2 options you have are overspend now for someone that you want. Like, let's say you meet Troy Weaver and what he wants with the Pelicans, and you trade them Ausar. You could do that, but you're massively overpaying. I think 99% of the fan base would be furious, and I think they should. That would be dumb. You could overpay to try to say that, okay, we made a move to satisfy some of the fans. Once you're at this point, you could overpay to make something happen. Say you just made a move, get them off your back. You could do that, or you could accept the situation you now have found yourself in and say, you know what, it sucks, but we'll try to make this move in a few months, and we want to make moves now that give us a better chance of doing it now in a few months. I think that's basically, I think they made the right decision if this is where you're at.
So Mike Valenti is, saying his sources are saying that the Pistons are done with the offseason and they're going to just sign Jalen Duren this offseason. So, at the end of the day, I mean, they still got a logjam of people on that team. I don't know how much, Taurean Prince or Gary Harris is going to play. But, shoot, it is what it is. I think they made some improvements, especially in depth. But was this offseason worth getting rid of Isaiah Stewart? I would say no. The moves that they made right now on paper, and we just speaking on paper, I don't think that was worth getting rid of Isaiah Stewart. And I might be in the minority in that, but or I might be in the majority, I would believe. But check out the Trey Pistons Talk playlist, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Isaiah Joe probably gonna start. John Collins give you a better shooting. He probably don't give you the defense that Tobias gave you, which was dropping off. But Tobias kind of stabilized that forward position they was missing for years. Collins is a better shooter, better rebounder on most years. Last year he didn't rebound. Usually he'll right around 8 or 9 rebounds. Last year he didn't rebound to the clip that he can. But if he get back to rebound 8, 9 rebounds, that'd be huge. Get a little bit more spacing than Tobias Harris. Good shoot. I mean, like I said, good shooter. Athletic, can jump. And then Isaiah Joe just seemed like a guy that may just need an opportunity. Can shoot the lights out, more athletic than Duncan Robinson. You probably move Duncan Robinson to the bench. Bench become a little stronger. They rolling with B-Ball Paul, Duncan Robinson, Dennis Jenkins. And then the question is if they're going to play Abuka Court. And people say, oh, he's the 17th pick. Yeah, I mean, my biggest concern is they went out there and they did all this misconstruction of the roster, or deconstruction of the roster, excuse me. You got rid of a shot creator in Karis LeVert and didn't bring one in. That's the crazy thing about it. You got rid of a shot creator in Karis LeVert and didn't bring one in. So really you down to Cade and Jenkins being guys that can get their own shot. And, if you ain't going to play Abuka Corey, it don't matter. It's kind of like Marcus Sasser was one of the few guys on the roster that can get his own shot, and they just refuse to play him. So I just, would believe they would have to play Abuka Corey. And even putting him in the starting lineup, he would just have to learn fast. He's a guy that can get his own shot. Even with that lineup, you're in the same predicament you was last year. You're in the same predicament. You got 4 guys out there with Cade. Nobody can get their own shot but Cade. So you would need somebody to be able to come in and get their own shot. Now, would be starting Jenkins be an option? I mean, I guess it would. But, I'm just looking at Abuka Corey and like, why not put him at the, out there and let him play? I mean, I know it's going to be a learning curve, but he's a smart guy. He's a very smart guy. Probably got to get a little bit stronger, but he'll learn trial by fire. But in general, Isaiah Joe's probably going to be the starter out there. And don't forget, I think his contract is coming up, so he's playing for a deal. They're going to sign Asar and Jalen Duren. And, for the most part, they're banking on development. If what's brother name? If Ron Hollins get a jump shot, I think he could be one of those guys who can get his own shot, get his own offense. But he got to be able to come back and get a shot. In Summer League last year, it looked like it was coming together. But when the real NBA started, we didn't see no real improvement. We didn't see no real improvement. So, but that's my biggest concern is they got more athletic and more shooting. But even with Isaiah Stewart, you lose some shooting from the big fella position. Paul can shoot it a little bit, so that ain't the worst thing. But in general, they just need more shooting. I just need somebody with more shot creation. And that's something that they failed to get this year. So it's really, probably not going to play Abuka Corey. Somebody who can get their own shot. And it's probably going to boil back down to Dennis Jenkins and Cade Cunningham getting their own shot again. So you don't improve from that situation. You don't improve. So when it come down to like doubling and it come down to, doing what Cade do, he just gonna have to be looking to pass for guys to catch and shoot. That's it. Really you downgrade defensively with Isaiah. I mean, from Tobias to Collins, you upgrade defensively from Joe to Duncan Robinson, but in general, they're a better shooting team, but they're not a better scoring team. And that's going to be in better scoring is going to pretty much predicated on what they do with Abuka Corey, what Jalen Duren, what bag he come back with. Asar Thompson and Ron Hollins developing, and I think nobody really feel confident either one of those guys develop into the offensive score or their offense develop into what we need. You know, because you see time and time in the NBA, these guys don't improve. They come back every year and the bag is the same bag. And you do see guys like Jay McDaniels get it together and be a better player, and what was Jalen Johnson, really take that step. But it's just too few, far in between. But if that's the case, that's the case. We can't complain and bitch over spilled milk. That's what it's gonna be. So I think they better athletic wise, better depth wise, better shooting wise. So we'll see what they be able to do defensively, but they just didn't get. They understood, from the reports, they understood the score that they needed, and it seemed like they tried to get, Austin Reeves. They tried to get Kawhi Leonard. They tried to get Kyrie Irving. But ain't none of it worked. So now the last thing to tackle is getting Jalen Duren back at the price point that they all can come to agreement with, but he restricted. So, I don't know if the relationship has been severed or not, but, we'll see what happens. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live with our video. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.
Now, that patience may prove to be smart. Maybe a move like this plays into that as well. But if nothing else happens, I think fans are going to wonder why the Pistons didn't take a bigger swing this offseason. Will they be holding themselves back if there's nothing else in the works, even if they do end up re-signing Duren? I mean, you have to imagine Cade Cunningham has earned more urgency. You can't really wait on this window. But I think a lot of people are asking, why haven't they added another impact scorer? Why hasn't the Jalen Duren situation been resolved? Why would they let a veteran like Tobias Harris go? And maybe more than anything else, why does it feel like the other Eastern Conference teams are being more aggressive than the Pistons are when they had the most wins of any Eastern Conference team last season? But I think if you look at it from the other side, you got to be fair with Trajan. Patience isn't always a bad thing. And again, we got to wait and see what these couple little moves will lead to. They don't want to overpay for players simply because there's money and assets available to them. The trade market might open up this summer. It might become more favorable to them. So sitting on that, I know it's hard to say that, but that could be the move. And truthfully, if the Duren negotiations don't resolve themselves, it's hard for them to know what really is there. I don't think the fans are upset because the Pistons necessarily haven't signed a superstar. I know the names have floated out there. Even LeBron James' name was there. Kevin Durant is still there. But that's not why I think fans are frustrated. That's not necessarily a move they want them to make. I think they're frustrated because there hasn't been a clear signal that they're trying to capitalize on what Cade Cunningham has accomplished. They saw the out against Cleveland. That was tough to take. But mainly when your franchise player proves he's capable of leading a playoff team, you're so close, the expectation changes at that point. It's not, can we develop the stars, the young players that we drafted? It's, how quickly can we build a championship around the star we have? And that's Cade Cunningham. That's why I think this offseason feels a little different. I think that's why expectations have ultimately changed. But let me know, guys, are Pistons fans overreacting to this quiet offseason? Is that the issue, or should Trajan Langdon, rightfully so, be criticized for not showing more urgency in what he's done?